Hello, welcome to Lemon Studios, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, the Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Evil Dead Burn. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Share and leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Evil Dead Burn, and of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into it, shall we? So, Evil Dead. Me and Evil Dead, we have an interesting relationship. I mean, it's one of those series where I do feel like there is not a bad movie. I know everyone's least favorite is Army of Darkness. It's also my least favorite as well, but there is fun to be had in that. However, I am one of the outliers, and when I say that, I mean I prefer the newer Evil Deads as opposed to the Sam Raimi Evil Dead movies. Like, yeah, sure, Evil Dead 2 was a lot of fun, and it's great, and it's definitely the best of the originals, right? But man, that Evil Dead from, what was it, 2012, I want to say? And then, of course, Rise, to me, which is the best Evil Dead movie. To say I was super excited going into Evil Dead Burn is an understatement, and especially the hype that was coming around it, saying, oh, they did it again, they went 3 for 3. Then you see the tomato meter, you go up to 92%. And when I came out of this movie, I just thought, yeah, it was fun. Definitely not my favorite of the 3. I do have some problems when it comes to the film, as opposed to it just doesn't match up as well with the other new ones that came out, because this one has the same formula as the other 2 in a lot of ways, meaning it is a metaphor for something else that is going on within life. Like the remake, that is a metaphor for relapse or drug addiction, what have you. That is purely someone who is going through withdrawals after a big drug problem that they have. I mean, it is basically the whole entire story formula, and how the Deadites represent how that impacts the people around you and also within yourself when you are going through those withdrawals. And then, Evil Dead Rise is the one where, it's about low income housing in a lot of ways and how being really run down, or just single parent households in general, and about those complications. And what was so great about those 2, and I'm going to get into Burn in a little bit, but I really do feel like I have to hit the point of the other 2 of what I really liked about them to justify it, is that there are likable characters in there. And the horror within the Evil Dead is not the Deadites. The Deadites is when the movie becomes fun, even though they become very mean, and especially with the grotesqueness of the gore of which we see these kills and what they do to themselves and how they look afterwards. That's the fun of Evil Dead. The horror, what makes it scary, is going, damn, I really don't want this person to turn. It's the anticipation of them turning into a Deadite and not them becoming a Deadite, because again, you like these people and you don't want them to turn and go heel until they ultimately do. And then, of course, it's fun within the dialogue because of the culture shock and within the change that the Deadite causes this overall good person, and now they're saying all these heinous things. That's where the scariness comes in, is that anticipation, not the Deadites themselves. Here in Burn, yes, we have a metaphor for something. I'm not going to get into it because I didn't know it going into it, and it was interesting to unfold that. I don't know if it explained that in the trailers that much, but from where I remember, they don't recall the story, so I'm not going to recall the story. But it is a metaphor like the other 2 for a situation that's happening. However, most, if not, our main person we like. It's a good person. That's the person that we are following all the way through. And there is one other person that I did enjoy. Everyone else in this movie sucks. And when they turn into a Deadite, it's just kind of like, okay, you're saying these things that you would have said if you weren't a Deadite. It's just now you're a Deadite. And there's not that awe factor when, like, damn, this person has turned. I really didn't want them to turn. You're just kind of like waiting for them to turn into a Deadite. And again, it's just, they're saying the exact same things, but their voices alter a little bit because of they're demonized. Right? So there is that kind of just really brings the movie down to me all the way through. There are some things I like. When they are Deadites, the movie is a lot of fun. There's some great camera angles in a lot of ways. It's kind of like reading a comic. and some of the camera shots and the way that they cut to, like I was really feel like, man, I feel like I'm reading I'm reading a graphic novel or a comic book. I thought that was really cool. The blocking was also very well shot within the movie. The camera work is very well shot. You really do feel like you are in the house with them as everything's progressing, that you are fighting the Deadites with the people that we are following all the way through. But again, what hurts this movie so much is that what made the other so strong is that you like these people. You got to know them. You want to root for them. You want them to make it out of this. Here in this movie, again, all except one, maybe two characters, and the second one, when they turn relatively early, so you can't fully invest in them that much. It's just like, okay, you're saying the exact same things you would have said if you weren't a Deadite, but now you can just now do some sick stuff to yourself to drive the point even more home. And it's just, again, I just don't know how much more intimidating you can be when you already have this mindset and the free will to speak this verbalage to this person pre-Deadite. What's being a Deadite different doing to you now, except now you're basically immortal, except for very certain limitations that bring you down. So yeah, that's what brings the movie down to me. But again, overall, I had fun with it. I mean, it's Evil Dead. The grotesqueness is part of the fun. When they are Deadites, they're saying wild stuff, and it is fun to see. It's just, again, that it doesn't go from 4 to 11. It kind of just stays 11 all the way through, and at some point, it does just become noise. But cool stuff either way. There are 2 post-credit scenes in the movie. If you did get a chance to see those, makes me really excited for the next one. I heard that one's coming out next year, Evil Dead Wrath, especially with those implications of what that could mean. So from the post-credit scenes, I'm looking forward to watching that one. But yeah, again, overall, the movie was just fun. If you want to go out to the theater to go see it, yeah, I'm not going to stop you. If Evil Dead's not your type of movie, this isn't going to change your mind on that whatsoever. If it had the ranks on the lemon scale where it goes sour lemon at the bottom, expired store-bought lemonade, bad but hey, there's some good. Store-bought lemonade, good but hey, there's some bad. Lemonade in the middle, it's a movie, it's fine. Freshly squeezed lemonade, very good, minor problems here and there. But then strawberry lemonade at the very top because it's the best kind of lemonade. I would say Evil Dead Burn is a lemonade. Again, it's a movie that you're going to see. You'll be like, yeah, that was fun for what it was. But if you're like a real true diehard, well, I'm not a true diehard, but I'm like just slightly above a casual. Then, yeah, you might leave a little disappointed. And that's kind of where I felt as I was walking out. This was a movie I was expecting to love, and I ended up just liking. It's kind of like after... we've all dated, right? It's like after you go on a first date and like the text messaging was really good and you felt the chemistry, and then you meet them in person, you just kind of like, damn, we might just be better as friends, huh? Man, I really thought we could have been something here, but no, it ain't gonna work out. I like you, but I just don't know if I like you in that way anymore. It's just one of those situations when it comes to Evil Dead Burn. I just like you as a friend. But yeah, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Evil Dead Burn. Do you like it just as a friend, or maybe you want to take that next step with it? A lot of people really did enjoy this movie. It is at 92% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, so I could be one of the outliers here, but yeah, it just fell flat with me on some places. Leave a like if you made this far with the interview. I do greatly appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button as I am trying to grow into my YouTube career. And don't forget to squeeze the days, guys, because life is too short not to give your all, so squeeze every opportunity that you can. Until next time, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.